Millions of cases every day, short-staffed medical facilities, hidden number of deaths, and world's largest population. This is the reality of COVID-19 in India's neighbor, China. China is witnessing an explosion of COVID-19 cases. At the same time, the number is so high that China has stopped publishing its daily figures. A news agency recently published a report that said that in the first 20 days of December, China saw over 250 million cases. Exactly 3 years ago, China started recording cases of COVID-19 and it slowly started spreading across the world. What happened next? We all know about that. And as we are stepping into 2023, it is like a deja vu moment for many of us. So what is happening in China? How do we look at the censored reports coming from the country, and what does it mean for the world and India? Let's find out. Let us start with the recent policy changes that have taken place in China. Since the beginning of pandemic, China has adopted a very strict policy against COVID-19, and that is the zero COVID policy. Under this policy, people in China were exposed to harsh and brutal lockdowns of places frequently over just a few instances. These lockdowns were over anything from a single incident to several cases. People were forced into quarantines while mass testing was being carried out, and lockdowns remained in place until no new case was reported. Since the beginning of pandemic, millions of people faced this situation. As a result, people started protesting against the Chinese government, which is a rare sight in China because public discussion is highly controlled and monitored. At the same time, China has vaccinated over 90% of its population, but only 2/3 of those over 80 have received the shots. This means that a large population is still vulnerable to this virus. The protest against the zero COVID policy scared the government and it scrapped its zero COVID policy. Now the result was a massive explosion of cases because the population that was isolating itself from the virus for so long is now suddenly exposed to it. While at the same time, this is a festive season in the country, which means a lot of movement of people from one city to another. As we know, it is very difficult to figure out the actual situation in China because the news is highly censored. But leaked reports and conversations on social media have indicated that the situation is turning from bad to worse. China has not just stopped publishing its daily infection figures, but it has also started to count only those deaths which are happening due to respiratory failure. This means that a large number of COVID-19 deaths are not even counted. Surprisingly, China has also opened travel for international travelers without much restrictions from January 8th. This explosion of cases is a big worry for the world. India, Japan, and Malaysia have already started putting restrictions on travelers coming from China. But the biggest worry for the world is that this uncontrolled explosion of cases may give rise to a variant which would be very dangerous. One thing that a lot of us did not want as we were stepping into 2023 is another wave of COVID-19. There is not an indication that this would happen, but the case of China has left the world worried. What do you think about this? Let me know in the comment section. And if you like this video, do not forget to drop in a like and subscribe to Indiatimes.